What's up guys, my name is Gabe and welcome back to the Trojan Blade. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is my flu game. I am very sick. I caught some sort of bug over the weekend and it's been pretty brutal, but we're not gonna let that ruin the good vibes. Very excited to talk about this game that we had on Saturday night. And man, how about that Trojan defense? How about Dan Lynn? How about Lincoln Riley? That was about as good a performance I've seen from a Trojan team in some time. This is a physical team, a prepared team, a well-coached team, unlike our friends over there in South Bend. And man, I'll be honest, Saturday was such a weird day throughout the sport. I was starting to get a little nervous, but then I saw Matt Barkley losing his mind as our tunnel captain, and I was like, oh yeah, we're good. This was a throwback game in a lot of ways, and it was absolutely great to see. But before we get more into it, if you are enjoying the videos, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We did hit 9,000 subs over the weekend, so 10K is in sight. And I'm also going to be doing a giveaway for when we hit 10,000 subs, so make sure you follow me here on YouTube and over on Twitter at the Trojan Blade. Having said all that, let's get into this game. Alright, so right out of the gates, Lincoln treated this game like a preseason game on the offensive side of the ball. We were as vanilla as I've seen us under him. We did not show a damn thing. Not to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but like I said on Twitter, Lincoln giving nothing away in this game mixed with having 2 weeks to scheme and game plan for Michigan, I totally expect to see epic levels of tomfoolery from Coach Riley next week. This was just an incredibly basic game plan from snap 1 until the very end of the game. We saw a run-first approach that was dictated by Utah State deploying 3 deep safeties, which was never going to work for them. But we took advantage of that time and time again. We ran the ball as well as we have under Lincoln, averaging a little over 7 yards a rush, which is beyond elite. I thought the O-line was really nasty in this game. Elijah and Emmanuel on the left side were vicious. Mason Murphy was great. You really saw his athleticism and ability to play in space flash in this game. It really is quite jarring how much the identity of this team has flipped from last year to this year. This team is willing to be patient. This team is willing to matriculate the ball down the field. And when a team like Utah State is going to sit back and allow you to run the ball at will, we're going to do it. Last year, we were always going for the explosives, no matter the situation. This is much more what we've seen from Lincoln up to this point as a head coach and play caller. And for the second week in a row, I do have to shout out the tight ends. Lake McCree and Cade Eldridge are absolute maniacs. The violence these two have put on display in our first 2 games is stunning when you look at how our tight ends played last year. Cade is out there mauling people. Lake is driving guys 20 yards back. I mean, these guys are getting in the mix and loving every second of it. Miller Moss was a game manager in the most complimentary way possible in this one. He did what the game required him to do, nothing more, nothing less. His numbers don't look super impressive, but he did have a drop touchdown by Jacoby Lane, a drop touchdown by Zachariah. Deuce was a little lazy fighting for the ball in the end zone as well. He was very efficient and really good on the night. Woody Marks and Quentin Joyner were sensational. Quentin finally had the breakout performance we've all been hoping from him, and now I do expect him to have a more involved role in this offense. He showed a physical side to his game that we haven't really seen up to this point, so love what we saw from the backs. We also saw Brian Jackson and Amarian Peterson feature later on in this game. My take on the Trojan running back room, we have 4 playable backs. I heard Mark Rogers say during the offseason that our running back room is thin. At the time, I thought that was wrong, and this game just validated that. We saw the debut of Jaden Mayava in this game as well. And I swear, I was having some serious Sam Darnold flashbacks when he dropped that snap and ran around and completed a pass downfield. But he looks big, powerful, and fast. That touchdown run was a thing of beauty. I was surprised at his burst. He looks more explosive than he did last year at UNLV. There's a noticeable difference in the velocity of his throws when compared to Miller's. That guy's got a whip. But there were also a couple misses that you'd like to see get cleaned up as well. But man, overall, what a luxury to have a player like that with that skill set and quality on the bench. Overall, very good performance from the offense. Extremely vanilla, but when you're as dominant as we were, you can get away with it. Now defensively, first shutout since 2011. Of course, that was 50-0. Fuck you, Bruins. But our guys were flying all around the field, getting turnovers, hitting the pig farmer in the mouth. And then my absolute favorite part of this game is how our true freshmen came into the game and made it their mission to hold on to the shutout. I haven't seen Lynn show an ounce of emotion up to this point, but when those young kids got that last stop, he was loving it. He and Cam Fountain were doing their handshake, and it was just a pure joy kind of game from our guys. And I just need to say that the level at which our young guys were prepared was simply astounding. Those guys looked more well prepared than our starters have at any point these last few seasons. And Utah State kept their starters in too. It was great to see us keep fighting and battling out there. Now I do have to shout out a few guys specifically. Eric Gentry and Kamari Ramsey are the 2 best and most impactful players on the Trojan defense up to this point in the season. Eric is a man transformed. He's all over the field. Anytime a positive play occurs on the Trojan defense, he's somehow right in the mix. He's tackling well, he's making an impact in pass coverage, and he's generating pressure when he blitzes. He simply has to start and play a vast majority of the snaps going forward, with or without Mason being healthy. Eric is our best linebacker and he has to play. And Kamari Ramsey, my God, the tackling, the diagnosis of what plays coming, the versatility. I hope I'm not overreacting here, but this is the next Polamalu, the next Hufanga, insert elite USC safety here, and Kamari is that. I could go on and on about specific players, so I'll only highlight one more. Cam Fountain, this kid has it. He looked like he was ready to contribute in the spring game, and he showed even more of that in this game. The first step is already close to elite, and he really stands out when live bullets are flying for each side. He's one of those guys that just looks and moves differently than everyone else. Not only did he pass the eye test, but he was also our highest graded defender per PFF, so the analytics are checking out too. But this was a collective effort all night. We were constantly getting pressure on the pig farmer, and we did a really good job of not giving them an inch. We held them to 2 out of 13 on 3rd and 4th down, 190 total yards, and we had the big INT from Easton Mascarenas Arnold. So the numbers don't always tell the full story, but in this case, I feel like they really showcase our dominance. Now, as always, it was not perfect. We do have a few questions to ask ourselves after this one. Zachariah Branch has yet to show us that he's taken a step as a receiver. Now, there's massive value in being an offensive weapon, which he currently is. As a route runner, as a catcher of the football, he's not where the other guys are at. They pretty much all had drops in this game, so I'm not singling him out, but this is a theme with Zach. We need to see improvement from him. He's so talented. If we can unlock him as a wideout, the upside for this offense increases dramatically. And secondly, Barry Alexander. You want to know where he stands with the coaching staff? He was out there playing with the freshmen and backups. He has to improve his weekly process, and being that this is year 2 at SC and we're still hearing the exact same things with him, I don't really expect to see that much of a change. Now, we are going to need him at some point this year, and all we can do is hope that he steps up when his number's called. As of now, he's the highest paid backup defensive lineman in the sport. Gotta see more from him going forward. So yeah, those are the negatives. And again, with Zach, I don't even think of that as a negative because he's still such an impactful player. There's just so much more there to unlock. It's frustrating when we can't get it going with him. All right, guys, I am officially out of energy. I feel like I'm gonna croak any second. So I'm gonna get out of here and take a nap. If you did happen to enjoy this video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. You're all awesome. And as always, take care and fight on.